Okay, guys, as we head into summer, I reckon it's time to get real about protecting our eyes and enhancing our fishing experience. So I thought it might be worth getting on board today Tonic Eyewear Managing Director Doug Phillips to talk about his perspective on how to choose the right sunglasses for you. Now, Doug's been in the eyewear industry a very long time, and he designs personally all of the Tonic Eyewear line of sunglasses, so he really knows his stuff. And obviously we're going to focus on his brand of eyewear because that's what he knows best. And because that's also what I wear, by the way, folks. And there's some really good reasons for that, which we'll discuss in the context of this interview. Because having worn lots of different sunglass brands over the years, I've now landed on Tonic, and I wear Tonic exclusively when I'm on the water because I've found the quality to be exceptional, but also the price tag to be really, really reasonable for what you're getting. So if you're considering upgrading your sunglasses, I would strongly suggest having a look at Tonics. And in fact, I am so enamored with this brand that I actually promote them now through the Team Doc Lures Tackle Collective. And whether or not you're a Team Doc Lures member, you can go and buy a pair of Tonics there because I reckon it's really important to protect our eyes, but also, to get out on the water, to be able to see fish, to be able to, as I like to say, experience life in full colour. You don't understand just how much colour gets enhanced when you put on a really good quality pair of sunglasses. So I really want ALF listeners to enjoy and experience what Tonic has to offer, and I'm making them available through the Team Doc Lures Tackle Collective for members and for the public as well. And to help motivate you and make it even easier for you to get into a pair of really good quality sunglasses, what I've done is put up some amazing bonuses so you can buy a pair of Tonic sunglasses through me at the moment for less than the retail price. You get $120 plus worth of bonus gear, which includes a membership to Team Doc Lures and some great Pro Lure clone prawns. But also I provide you with a guarantee that you're going to be happy with your sunglasses. And if you're not, I'll either take them back and give you your money back, or I will swap them for a different Tonic style or different Tonic lens color, whatever it is you want to do. So there's a really, really cool deal there. Minimizes your risk, maximizes your opportunity to get into a good pair of sunglasses to really enjoy your fishing and enhance your fishing, see a lot more fish, be a lot more comfortable out on the water at the same time. So ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to get into a $299 pair of Tonics for less than the retail price, if you would like to get some bonus Pro Lure clone prawns, if you'd like access to my online research tools for researching fishing spots, or my audio masterclasses, or my podcast members only content, then you can do all of that for the price of $249. So $50 less than you pay for just the sunglasses alone at recommended retail price. You can get it for $249 over at the Doc Lures website. So just go to doclures.com/tonic. That's TONIC, doclures.com/tonic. That will direct you to where you can choose the lens, the frame, everything you need to get the perfect pair of Tonic sunglasses for you. I help you to find which sunglasses you need to suit your face and your fishing needs, and make sure that you're 100% happy with that guarantee that you can send them back to me, get your money back, or exchange them for another pair if you don't get exactly what you're hoping for. Now, one more thing, ladies and gents, if you are the wearer of prescription glasses and you're looking for a pair of prescription sunglasses, then I know no better place to get them than, once again, from Tonic Eyewear, and I can help you with that process as well. So if you'd like to get yourself a pair of prescription Tonics in any frame style, any lens color that you would like, the best thing you can do is contact me. You can email greg@doclures.com or message me on the Doc Lures Facebook page, whichever's easiest for you. Instagram if you prefer. Just shoot me a message. Let me know that you're interested in a pair of prescription sunglasses, and I can get in contact with you and talk you through how that process works and get the ball rolling. Because I tell you what, there is nothing worse than being blinded either by glare or by not having the right, prescription lenses in front of your eyes, or a combination of both, of course, and we can rectify that problem really, really quickly. So please get in touch with me, greg@doclures.com, or via message on Facebook or Instagram if you're interested in a pair of prescription polarized fishing sunglasses. I will help you get the right frames and the right lens for you as well. So go and check it out, doclures.com/tonic. And on that note, folks, I won't harp any more on it. I'm going to get Doug Phillips on board. We're going to have a great conversation about getting the right set of eyewear, the right glasses for your personal fishing needs. So here we go.
This is the Australian Lure Fishing Podcast, where our mission is to help everyday sports fishers experience extraordinary lure fishing. If next level fishing is your dream, then let us provide the tools and information that will bring that dream to life. Tune in as our expert hosts chat with Australia's best anglers and share their tips for success. Then check out our website. It's one of Australia's largest and most popular online fishing resources. But right now, settle in to listen as ALF founder Greg Doc Lures Vinyl delivers today's episode through the nerdy lens of a scientist, lure maker, and sport fishing tragic.
Well, hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a special edition of the Australian Lure Fishing Podcast, and really looking forward to talking to you today about choosing the right pair of polarised sunglasses for you. And we're going to talk about how to choose a pair that fit your face. We're going to talk about how to choose a pair that give you the ultimate experience in terms of full colour fishing and full vision through into the water, into the depths to be able to see fish, all that kind of stuff. And to do that, I've brought on board none other than Doug Phillips from Tonic Eyewear. So Doug, welcome on board, mate. Really looking forward to this chat.
Thanks, Greg. It's always actually really good to catch up to you. It's been quite a while now, so I hope things are travelling well. But yeah, I'm happy to be on board.
Mate, I am going very, very well and really excited to be talking to you as well. And it's no secret that I have fallen in love with the Tonics brand, or not so much the brand as the products. And, I've worn pretty much every brand of a major brand of eyewear and lots of unknown brands as well over the years in, decades of fishing. And mate, I now wear exclusively Tonic's eyewear. And I came to you a little while back and said, mate, I really want my listeners to experience what I'm experiencing. Can I get on board and help to promote your product? So really, really happy to be able to do that, mate, and really looking forward to helping people decipher how to get exactly the right pair of sunnies for them, because it's so important, isn't it, when you're out on the water and you're getting massive exposure to UV and glare and all that kind of stuff to protect your eyes.
Well, yeah, you're not wrong, Greg. And you get a lot of people contacting me, pretty much, 20 or 30 phone calls a day asking what the best lenses are. And it's good to listen to what they really need and what can we offer them or provide them as far as information goes. We don't sell to the public, of course, but and we'll get onto this later, prescription eyewear as well. But that we do supply the public apart from our normal eyewear. But, it's really important. When I've been in optics for over 30 years now, and I've been designing lenses, and I work with Japanese all the time, and some of the best mathematicians in optics in the world. And believe me, there's different manufacturers around the world and all that, but honestly, you cannot and will not beat the Japanese. The polishing and the finishing, the film that we use in the lenses, you just won't get better. You'll see deeper, and I've experienced it. Lots of guides use Tonic these days, from Tasmania, New Zealand, overseas in America and so forth, Norway, and it just goes on. These guys really do appreciate good optics. And Greg, if you're a guide and you take somebody out fishing, you need to be sighting those fish. That's what you're paying for. These guys can sight the fish. And I was just talking to somebody just before about their prescriptions and their normal eyewear. They've had Tonics for a few years, but he now needs prescription. But he was over in New Zealand and the guide said, there's the fish there. And he goes, oh, I can't see it. And he goes, mate, what had happened, by the way, he'd left his sunglasses on the plane to New Zealand and he bought just another cheap brand or whatever it was, and he couldn't see the fish. And he said to him, mate, you've really got to buy some decent sunglasses. He said, it's only a few feet there in the water. So the guide was actually using Tonic, and I know the guide because he mentioned him, named Dean over there, and that's what they wear. They just wear the Tonic sunglasses. We've got a very special lens, can I add, which is called neon. So if you're a freshwater fisherman, the neon lens is a low light copper lens that lets in 33% light. So, but it still cuts all the glare, Greg. It's just an amazing lens. I love to use them in low light, driving, in the rain, whatever you like. It is an impressive lens, and there's nothing like it on the market here in Australia today. Okay.
I'm glad you brought that one up. And we are going to go through all your lens colours over the course of this conversation, but I'm really glad you brought that one up because a lot of people don't realise that, just because it might be overcast or just because you might be under a tree canopy or just because it might be around dawn or dusk and so the sun's a bit low in the sky, doesn't mean that you don't still get glare. And that glare and reflection is what stops you from seeing into the water. But the problem is if you put on a pair of sunglasses at those times, then everything's too dark, right? Or a normal pair of sunglasses. You put on a pair of neon lenses, And it enhances your vision. It enhances the contrast. You can see things more brightly, but it cuts that glare, which means you can see into the water. And if you're sight fishing, fresh water particularly, that's absolute gold. Those lenses are so valuable.
Well, there's a couple of things there that you just mentioned as well. When it's a cloudy, overcast day, Greg, the glare is the worst you'll ever get across that plane, that water.
Yep.
But with a good set of sunglasses like Tonics, honestly, what's going to happen is that I don't know too many people that actually know how to Polaroid. So Polaroiding, it's the different strike angles that hit the water through you with the glare on the water. So you might be looking straight at that glare on top of the water there, and it's still fairly glary. So, but our lenses, we grind and cut to the horizontal plane. So without turning your head side to side, but if you Polaroid, you tip your head to the left of your shoulder and to the right of your shoulder, and that horizontal plane will change the angle or strike angle of the light across the water, and you'll cut deeper and further into the water. Therefore, you'll be able to sight fish a lot better.
Yep. And also for those who are fishing in sunlight, looking at an LCD screen on a sonar or something like that, this also comes into play there, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's really funny. I've done a lot of talks to clubs for 30-odd years now, and some of them go, and I say, who knows how to Polaroid? And they all look at me and don't know what I'm talking about. So once I explain it to them, then they get it. But it really is important to have that sort of thing. And to go on to, apart from the neon that lets you 33% light, we also, in that film, or all our film, we use nano film. It is the thinnest and clearest film on the world market today. And do you know what? There's not many companies that will use it because there's a factor behind it.
You know why?
It's expensive.
It's too expensive. And this is one of the things. And look, we're kind of unashamedly plugging Tonic here, and there's a reason for that. We're going to talk more generally about eyewear in a moment, but if you're in the market, I would strongly suggest that you do have a look at the Tonic range. But one of the things that I love about the Tonic range is that just what you've said, you don't compromise on the quality of the films. You don't compromise on the quality of the lenses. The frames are rugged, robust. There's so many of them available. They fit any head. And yet these are all features, and we're going to talk a little bit about decentering optics and that sort of thing as well a bit later on. These are features that I expect to pay a lot more for. And you see in very high-end sunglasses for $800, $900, $1,000. But Tonics are much, much cheaper than that. So they're not, Tonic are not a budget sunglasses by any stretch, but I think in terms of the value and the quality, you're not going to get anything like that cheaper than what you pay for a pair of Tonics.
To be honest with you, there's companies, like the other brands out there, the reality price, the comparable products to ours, they're $357 a pair, and $320, $330, whatever. And if anybody knows me, they'll know my background. But the thing is that like ours are $299. Fortunately, my overheads are not as big, and I want people to be able to afford to buy a pair of Tonics, quite honest with you.
Yep.
That's where I really sit. And I don't do this for the money, Greg, and I have never done optics for the money. I do it because I love it. I'm passionate about it. And it's more important to me to give out a great product over anything else in the market. And all these big companies with the big brands and the big names, really, you don't need to be paying that sort of money if you want good optics. You're really paying for the brand names.
You're paying your brand tax, exactly.
So it just doesn't make sense to me. But sometimes people think it's dearer, and that it's because it's dearer, it's better, but it's just not the case.
No, that's right. And it's definitely part of the marketing and sales pitch for those brands as well. But, a really good point there, Doug. And again, going back to those who are guiding or those who are, very consistently out on the water 3, 4, 5 times a week, in terms of protecting your eyes from UV and protecting your eyes from glare, you don't want to finish up in your old age with cataracts. You don't want to finish up with macular degeneration, all those sorts of things that come from exposure to UV and exposure to glare. So really important. And this is why I definitely advise people to steer away from the real budget, servo type $25 a pair of sunglasses. They can actually do more damage to your eyes than no sunglasses at all. They can actually expose your retina to greater levels of UV, believe it or not.
Well,
and Tonics, of course, block 100% of UV.
Correct. And we do an anti-reflective coating on the back surface to reduce any bounce back and everything like that. So, but, like I'm talking, Greg, all our lenses are glass apart from prescription, but that's a different category again. But the glass lenses that we produce, Like they are optically perfect. They've got no aberration. And if you had a plastic lens, like people pay a lot of money for a plastic lens. Why? I just don't know. And do you know what? They might think, oh, glass is heavy. All the other brands, yes. But no, our lenses are 1.7 mil thin, noticeably different when it comes to wearing all day long, and the weight of all the other brands out there they really are heavy. It's been my mission absolutely to get our lenses down to 1.7 or past Australian standards. Everything is like the drop ball test. We use Crown Corning glass. It is a brilliant product for on the market.
I agree. And look, I have always, at least for the last 2 decades, I've only ever bought glass lens sunglasses. And I have had to put up with the fact that they're heavy on the bridge of my nose. I've had to put up with the fact that when I look down at the water, they want to fall off my face just because of the weight. And that was one of the things that as soon as I put on a pair of Tonics, I went, oh, hang on. Are these glass lenses? They look like glass lenses. They feel like glass lenses, but they're a lot lighter than anything I've worn before.
And they are really, and the beauty of glass, the scratch resistance of them is just incredible.
Yeah, and I know that there's probably a few people going, oh, yeah, they might be scratch resistant, but, you can crack a glass lens and you can't crack a polycarbonate one. But tell you what, it takes a fair bit to crack a Tonic lens, doesn't it? Just because of the shape of them and the way they're laminated and the structure of them. They're pretty strong.
They're like a car windscreen, Greg, realistically. And I could demonstrate to anybody. 13 times I hit it with a pointed nose pair of pliers, and it's a point into it, like it's pretty hard, before I actually break the lens. Like I'm really belted the hell out of it just to prove a point to somebody. But and glass doesn't bend. I get that. But you know what? I've never broken a pair, and we've got the replacement deal out there anyway for everybody to use. And it's a fantastic deal. It really honestly is.
Yep.
They're the things that's got to be really. And it's like our mirrored lenses as well. You'll never scratch that mirror off. You go and buy a plastic lens with a mirror on it, 3 weeks out, the salt gone, finished, scratches. Yep. And they're little micro scratches as well. So they become foggy.
Yeah, and it just gets cloudier and cloudier, doesn't it? And it eventually is creating this kind of, it's as good as having glare because it's scattering the light that hits your lens, and so you finish up not being able to see through them properly. But, mate, I'm hard on sunglasses. Mine get stuck in my pocket all the time. They're often, there's often sand in there. They're wet, they're salty, and I don't have any scratches on my Tonics. So, I can definitely vouch for their scratch resistance. Anyway, mate, let's start to talk a little bit about, for those who are on the market for a pair of sunglasses, how to go about finding the perfect pair for you. And let's start with frames, mate. What do we need to look for in terms of frames and making sure that what we get is going to be comfortable on our face?
Well, we do different frames for different faces, of course, and that we consider that. We look very carefully about that. So, like if you wanted one with a lot of a wider side on it, that's our shimmer model to reduce light. But, to be honest with you, with our anti-reflective coating, they reduce the bounce back by about 38% these days.
Yes.
And can I just say one thing, that the Japanese coater, a coater that we use, he would have maybe 18 or 20 plaques on the wall that he's won the best coating. He's expensive, but he's the best. His AR coats that I can't speak more highly of, really. Its quality doesn't scratch easy at all on the back. You'll never remove it. But it's like a matte finish. It absorbs so much in the back end of it. So, really good. But back to the frame, sorry. I just got off track there.
Yep. No, that's a good information.
So, get carried away there. But, and then we've got the Evo model. That's if you've got a really broad nose or had a broken nose, or if you've got a high bridge on your nose, the Evo is the perfect pair for you. You know why? Because you put on with a normal standard bridge and you'll be looking beneath the glasses. Okay, so but the Evo will sit down and cover. I've never had an issue with a high bridge, wide bridge when it comes to that. And people come to say to me, "Mate, you can't help me out." I do know I do this for a living. Remember, so I look at it and I go, "Here you go, mate, try those on." And he goes, "Oh my God, look at this!" And and the wife comes up and says, "Here's a credit card." It was really quite funny.
Yeah.
So that guy has suffered severely for a long time about looking through that. And this guy also, just may I mention, he had some lenses on, really dark. I would say they would be a category 4. Do not wear a category 4. For starters, your pupils will dilate to the max and you'll absorb so much UV. It is incredible. And so I would suggest not to, unless you're almost, using an oxyacetylene set. But our categories are a bit different. But getting back onto the frame, so your frames, we've got a rush, the model rush. It's It's a great little, if you weigh about 80 kilos and you're about 5'8" or 6'4", that rush will fit you like a glove. Beautiful little frame, good fitting. Then we go into, if you really want big fittings, you've got the tracker. That's a big unit and slip on, beautiful, and it fits well. Matte finish, they're all matte, really good finish. Then you've got the tracker, the rise is good, and the uranium, and also our new Titan, the model Titan, all for big fitting heads, really good. Let me think. Now, Tango is another model which is probably medium fit, like I'm 6 foot and 283 kilos. That fits me really well, beautiful. It's a 6-base curve, so it's not such a big wrap, and it'll fit you really, really well. Then if we look at our outback, so younger guy who wants to look a bit trendier, go to barbecues and so forth, so a little bit of functional fashions as well, with good AR coats, anti-reflective coatings on the back surface, really good. Between Outback, Mo, what's the other model that I would suggest, and Swish, they're all bigger, more fashionable frames. So we can cater for almost everybody and anybody out there. We really can. So these things that you...
And we probably should mention while we're on frames, mate, we probably should mention also that, one of those you just mentioned, the Outback, in the blue mirror lens was the winner of the Sunglass of the Year award at the AFTA Trade Fair this year.
Yes, it was. And you know what? Like, notably, and quite honestly, we won that on its merits. There's no ifs and buts about it. It's the lens that we've done for this was the new lens as well. And, the frame, it's a transparent type thing, quite a sort of a trendier frame, I suppose you could say. We actually sold 500 pairs in 4 days. I had that around the wrong way.
Wow. Yep.
It was remarkable, but very proud. And to be honest with you, going back to, if people know my background, you'll understand where I'm coming from. And to build a new brand like this with the optics it's an achievement. It really is.
Yeah.
So,
phenomenal stuff. So congratulations on that for sure.
Thanks. Thanks for that. Because, look, and Greg, also I forgot to mention that we've got 2 ladies as well. One lady is quite a very fashionable pair, and that's the Flemington, which is in black and a tortoise shell frame, and they're all handmade. Beautiful. And then we've got the Cove, which is an injection, and also that's in black and tortoise shell as well. One's they're both sort of semi-fashionable and very fashionable, but they have glass photochromic lenses in them. So if people know what a photochromic lens is, if I could talk a little bit more about that, if you like.
Yeah. We want to talk about lenses. So is there anything else we need to cover on frames? You did mention the shimmers having the wide arms, helps to block out some light, and that's not so important now with the anti-reflective coating. But also, I wear shimmers for that reason.
Yeah, okay.
I must confess. But I also find that these days, I'm wearing a headsock more often than not, and so it comes up around the sides of the glasses anyway and blocks out a lot of that extraneous light anyway. But anything else we need to know in terms of comfort? Obviously, the bridge of the nose, that's a key thing. You need to make sure that you get a pair. If you've got a wide bridge, your glasses need to accommodate that. And likewise, if you've got a narrow bridge, you want to make sure that the glasses fit that. What else, mate?
Well, I think it's really important that they're not, because we've all got what we call a mastoid bone behind our ear. You want to make sure that they're not too tight on the back of that. And I did forget another really quite nice looking little frame, which is our Wave. That's pretty new on the market. That's been quite popular. And I can tell you what, when you put them on, they'll never come off your head. It has that temple at the back that really curves in quite tight on the back of your head, and you'll never lose them. Trust me. I kayak a bit and fumble around. There's a lot to do on a kayak, and quite often you nearly slip the glasses, but these things never come off. Even when I fell in the water, and I got it back out and back up again, they were still in my head. So I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, I have to say also, Doug, and I know it sounds a bit like I'm blowing smoke here, but I'm actually giving you an honest appraisal of the product that I've been wearing, which again is the shimmers. It's the first time I've owned a pair of polarized sunglasses that I actually don't have a retainer strap on them at all. Right? Every other brand that I've ever owned, I've had a strap there in case they come off my face. Now, I'm not necessarily suggesting that everybody doesn't need to have a retainer strap on their sunglasses, so I don't want to be responsible for anyone losing their glasses. But for me, those glasses fit me so well, I haven't needed them at all, and I've felt very safe and comfortable. I can lean over the side of the boat to land a fish, or lean over the side of a bridge or a pier or whatever, and they're going to stay on my face.
Yeah, well, that's exactly why, when a person goes in to try on a pair of sunglasses and they have the Retro Fit, it is important to try them on. It is important to lean forward. But again, we fall back to the situation with a 1.7 mil glass lens thin. They are like the weight is brilliant. You can feel substance, Greg, but they're not overbearing. And when I first started grinding lenses back in 1992, they were 2.2 mil. And I used to think, oh my God, how do people wear these all day? And then we got down to 2 mil, 1.9, and to this today with a very expensive polishing system, down to 1.7. And
1.7 mil, yeah, phenomenally thin.
You shave that mil off, or 2 mil in weight, it is unbelievable. That's the difference.
Yep, absolutely. All right, mate. Let's start to get onto those. I think we've talked about frames a fair bit. Let's move on to those lenses now.
Sure.
There's a few things that I'd like to kind of cover here. There's a few different color options. You've touched on photochromic. For those people that don't have or don't know what photochromic lenses are, listen up, because this is super important stuff.
It is.
But there's also a bunch of lens colors. There's mirrored options. I'd like to talk about the lenses being decentered. That's a feature that I have found vastly improves my fishing experience. A few other bits and pieces there, and I've already talked about the UV. So 100% UVA and UV blocked by Tonic lenses.
Well, let's start off with we do. I'll go into some areas here, but optical with the optics. But okay, so a glass photochromic polarised lens. Okay, so photochromic means it's a UV active product. So you go outside, the lens will go dark. It'll only change between 22 and 24%. Okay, so it will never be clear because it's polarising filter must have colour. It's just how it is. You cannot change that molecule in that lens. Okay, so the photochromic lens for ours, it's impregnated into the glass. All right, so it'll never fade. You could burn that lens out, the film. You could hold a cigarette light under it and burn that film out, gone. Okay, but that photochromic lens will still live on. So we put a lifetime guarantee on that lens. All right. So as far as the photochromic goes, all right. So photochromic days all day long, coordinates with your pupil eyes. You will not notice it. But I will say one thing, just to confirm and guaranteeing what I say. So inside your house or some dark area or an area that's got no sunlight, cover half of one lens. One lens, not two lenses, half of one. All right? Hold it in the sun for a couple of seconds and walk back inside and take that cloth off, and it's like you've cut that lens in half. That's how you test it. It's photochromic. Okay, so I'll paint you a picture. So if you're walking up a river and it's trees, sunlight, that lens will be going light, dark, light, dark, light, dark all the way.
Yes.
Changing with and again, you won't notice it because people question the fact that how can this is not photochromic? I've never noticed it. You'll never notice it. The test is a test, what I said. So I bet a guy $10,000, but he wouldn't go with it. But he worked it out that I was correct anyway. Because he rang me about 8 times. He was driving me insane. But now, that's a copper lens. That lens has got a 4-colour integrated filter system in it. Okay? So this is why it's got green, yellow, brown and copper in that lens. All right? So what happens with that colours, the reason we do this is because you're looking for more depth and more colour saturation. So if you look at reds, blues, greens and yellows, those colours are deeper. Okay? So we need this specifically when we're fishing and seeing deeper into the water with the nano film. And believe me, there's nothing on the market as good as this film. And I really mean that. There's no smokes and mirrors about this. Like a good pizza, the thinner, the better. Believe me. So all these companies spend all this money saying, I've got all these coatings, no comment on my behalf. We don't need the coatings. When you spend the amount of money we spend on this film, it's worth every cent. Okay.
Absolutely. And I have to say, mate, I get people ask me, what lens would you recommend? What colour lenses do I need? And my first question is, are you buying your first pair of glasses or your second pair of glasses, right? Because if you're buying a pair of sunglasses that you want to be a kind of general, all-round, all-purpose, put them on, and not just for fishing, but anytime you go out, then my personal recommendation will always be photochromic copper, right? Because they are just those lenses are so versatile. Now, if you're spending a lot of time out on the blue water, you're spending a lot of time in other situations, and you might want a second pair of sunglasses that suit that particular situation. But for general purpose wear, for me, that photochromic copper is absolutely magic. And the penetration you get looking into the water, whether it's blue water or whether it's in an estuary or a lake, doesn't matter. and the contrast you get, particularly in the freshwater environments and estuaries, to be able to see fish and structure through that copper lens is phenomenal.
Oh, I agree 100%. I wear that all the time. But you know what? So apart from that photochromic in copper, our grey lens, this is my fourth grey photochromic lens, and this is no doubt at all one of the best I've ever done. And I'll tell you why, because it's got a 2-colour integrated filter in it. So it's got grey and copper mix. Sorry, it's not that one. I'm sorry. It's got aqua as a splitter in it. What we do, so Japan and I had a bit of an argument over this because I didn't believe he was right. But he was right. I had to take a backward step on this one. With our aqua in it, see, I wanted something in a grey that I didn't just flatten colour out. The grey will just flatten colour out. I wanted something a little bit changed, and we need to add some aqua in this lens film. And I said, there's no way known possible. But he was 100% right. Anyway, so that's what we've done with this lens, and it is a beautiful lens. That photochromic lens is a really good performer, and it's beautiful. Well, I'm not joking. When you put this on, your eyes will just relax. Same with the copper, but your eyes will relax. So that, again, being a photochromic lens, movement all day long in any adverse conditions, out the ocean or whatever. And I will say about colour, so more adverse, and even though with the copper lens, and I get where you're coming from, Greg, and I really do, because I am in agreement with you. So if I'm out in the ocean with a photochromic copper glass lens, out there, I can pick up the bird life a lot better. I can see the currents. If you're a yachty in a yacht, they're looking for currents in the water. So they're looking for maximum speed and so forth. So I'm looking for, if you're looking for weather patterns in the clouds, and if you look in the sky and there's hardly any cloud or you can't see cloud, when you put a pair of those on, you'll find cloud.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's just one of those lenses. And if you're fishing, you're going to pick up all the gutters, where the fish lie in the gutters as well. So you pick up all that type of thing in the weed beds.
Reef flats, mate. Reef flats. The colour and the contrast and the ability to pick detail in reef flats is phenomenal.
Yeah, the details are pretty amazing. And then we go back into the grey again. But the grey out there all day long, like honestly, some people prefer a grey lens. I get that. Some people cannot stand, and it's because of the colour toning of their optics or their pupils that they can't really handle, or they sort of get a bit of a headache sometimes out of a copper-based lens. But our grey lens is really soothing for these people. So,
and grey lenses also, if you're a photographer or someone like that, or a videographer,
natural.
They give you true colour, don't they?
Correct.
Whereas the copper lenses they change the hues a little bit and change the colour balance.
Yeah, absolutely. And we don't do a yellow lens, and I refuse to do yellow because it really confuses the optical mind, your optics. Okay, so that's why I've never, and people, have been involved in yellows and so forth over many years ago. I've never done it since, but it's a fair bit of difference in colour tones that you just wouldn't use.
Yeah. So let's move on and talk about some of the other lens colours and their specific applications. So we've got those photochromic copper and the photochromic grey lenses, which are just brilliant all-round lenses. And for me, one of the measures of a really good pair of sunglasses is you figure you got them on your face, right? And so I can put on a pair of photochromic sunglasses early in the day and wear them right through until dusk and not take them off until it's getting too dark to see, and you don't notice they're there because they're just doing their thing and you're focused on other things, which is fantastic.
You are so right, Greg. Sorry, you are so right. I agree 100%. You literally forget that you're wearing these. That's how good the optics are.
If you're conscious that you're wearing a pair of sunglasses, it means that they're either not working properly or they're uncomfortable or they're creating headaches or there's some reason, right? They should become an integral part of your face while you're fishing and give you that advantage of not just being able to see through the water, but the colour intensities. I think it gets me, like you said, skies and clouds, that sort of stuff look fantastic through Polaroids. But anyway, let's move on and talk about some of those other lens colours and when you might choose them, mate. So you've got in your range, you've got silver mirror, you've got blue mirror, green mirror and red mirror lenses. When do each of those kind of come into play?
To be honest with you, again, let's start off with the silver mirror. So silver mirror really, that's not a photochromic lens, so it's got a 20% mirror inside it in that lens. So it's just going to flatten out all the colour. So it's a different beast again over our photochromic grey. But in saying that, if you're on the ocean, the good part about that, with a mirrored lens like that, it'll deflect the sunlight coming in. And it's a little bit darker than our photochromic lens, but But again, if I was fishing with that all day, I would not be disappointed. It's still a great lens out in the market. What we've done now is that it's not a big popular lens, the silver mirror. It just never has been. I don't know why. I think silver was just a bit probably old-fashioned. So we switched into the greens, reds, and the blues. So the green mirror is probably the winner for a mirrored lens because it's popular. It's blue. It's just the colour, cosmetic blue. If you want performance between the green and the blue, I'd use the green because the depth in the green is better than the blue mirror. People still want the blue because it looks better. But if you really want good colour saturation and depth, that's going to give you the best performance is the green.
Okay.
Simple as that.
Okay. Now, you've probably just sold me another pair of Tonics, mate, because I've got a blue mirror pair that I absolutely love, but it sounds like I need a green mirror pair as well now.
Yeah. But honestly, you could look, Greg, the way to tell, you don't ever put them on your head, look up and down at the tooth. You're confusing the optics. Oh, my. Okay, so what you do is you get the both of them and you hold them up side by side and you will see the difference between the two colours in there. So the green's got a little bit darker and it's got a little bit more yellow in that lens and it's just a beautiful lens.
That yellow tends to help lift the contrast, doesn't it? That yellow filter?
It does. Well, it's sort of like a tone. It's not really like a full yellow, but I say yellow because it's easy. It's descriptive to like it. It's
got that base colour to it. Yep.
Yeah. So people put there's all sorts of colours that you can use and apply, but you've got to understand that there's brands out there. I look through their lenses and I think, why would you do that? That's because they don't know. They've just gone off the shelf. Oh, we want that colour. We put a mirror on it, and it should be great. But the fact is that it's just bleaching the colour. You've got no colour saturation and no depth.
Yeah. So really, what they've done is it's a cosmetic thing. They're just trying to make a pair of sunglasses that look cool, but they haven't really paid attention to how the optics are working.
Well, there's a brand out there. It's a brand out there. There's no mention of the brand, of course. So, but put this rosy colour behind this mirror, and it just bleaches all the colours out. So you've just really got no depth. And different films that they use, it's a stock film at a film house. That's purchased from there, where my manufacturer manufactures the film. So I do all the maths for him. Him and I worked very hard. It took nearly 16 months to develop some of these lenses that we've done. So it's quite a journey.
But at the end of the day, as you say, the product speaks for itself, and so that's the importance of actually going through that process, not just slapping together something in a hurry and hitting the market with it.
And going back into with the mirrored lens, you will never, I promise you, cannot scratch that mirror off ours. I could stand there all day long with a set of car keys, going my hardest, and I won't mark them. And look, I will say that concrete takes them out. You run up and down concrete, you'll definitely scratch that lens. It's silica. It's like
it's glass. Diamond. You'll scratch any glass if you treat it harshly enough.
But in saying that, like they're good for the console, the dashboard, all over the place. They'll just last. Unfortunately, I should say that they'll last far too long, and they really do.
No, it's not unfortunate. They're a good product. The fact of the matter is, you need, if you're like me anyway, you need multiple pairs anyway. So there's always a reason to buy more, mate. Don't you worry about that. And speaking of a reason to buy more, I'd really like to explore these red mirror lenses with you, mate, and talk about their value, because I think it might be a kind of underappreciated lens colour there.
Well, it really is, and it really is a phenomenal lens. I love it, and we've done a very unique thing. So this has got two colour integrated filter in it. So it's got brown and copper mixed in this filter.
Okay.
And the reason we've done this is because I wanted something really quite specific. And you could use it all day long in the ocean, and believe me, your eyes will nearly go to sleep when you put these on. But the depth of this lens is quite incredible. So if you're squid fishing, for instance, they are amazing because of the toning of the squid and in the kelp and so forth, where they get in there and hide and whatever. And this depends on the depth, of course. But my God, you can see the squid. And even at depth when I'm pulling it, when you can see, I can see them a lot quicker than most people can see them. And it goes down to the film, the colour toning, and everything else we've done with this lens. But it really is a beautiful lens. So if you're fishing all day out in the water, and that bounce back off that mirror lens with that that shimmer coming across the water, especially when you're on the kayak, on low. So you're really getting a lot of that shimmer. It is a performing lens. It really outperforms. It does really work well.
Fantastic. And I'll tell you what, folks, towards the end of this interview, we might actually have a special offer for you. If you're interested in getting your hands on a pair of Tonics in red mirror, I might have a deal I can put to you. So stick around for that. Doug, before we move on, anything else we need to know about lens colors? I guess one of the observations I'd make is that, with your photochromic copper and your photochromic grey, they're obviously going to adjust to the light conditions on the day or minute by minute, hour by hour. The mirrored lenses, not so much, but they come into their own when you've got extreme glare, don't they? So they're removing a lot of that extraneous glare before it actually hits the colour filters and the polarizers.
Well, extremely. Let's face it, if you're beach fishing off the beach,
yep.
I'd be using a mirror because of that shimmer coming across the water, that low sun.
Yeah, white sand and water around.
Yeah, blinding.
Yep.
Absolutely blinding.
Yeah.
And look, they are not welding goggles, okay? They will filter all the glare. Now, I wouldn't bother buying a pair of sunglasses that's not polarised, to be honest with you, because a non-polarised lens only reduces light and generally makes things darker, okay?
Darker, yep.
A polarising lens, and our pupil likes light. We need light in our pupils. That's why I said to you earlier, don't buy a shade 4, category 4. Our lenses are between, our photochromic lenses, by the way, it goes from 2 to 3. In category 2 and 3, it carries that label. And our mirrored lenses carry a label of category 3, but they all block 100% UVB and UVA, so forth. So, and all our glasses pass the Australian standards and FDA, Federal Drug Administration, also in America. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to sell them there either.
And mate, one of the things, when you talk about going to really dark glasses, and this is one of the things that I found out after wearing probably the wrong sunglasses for a long time, was that with cheaper glasses, they might only be blocking 90% of the UV or 95% of the UV, right? And that sounds like it's a fair bit, but it's not. It's not enough to protect your eyes.
No.
If you're wearing really dark glasses, what that does is it causes your pupils to dilate, which opens your eyes up to allow more light in. And if you're not blocking all that UV, you can actually be getting more UV hitting the back of your retina and doing more damage to your lens and your retina than if you're not wearing sunglasses, right?
100%. And that's why, we're so cautious about doing everything. It really is important that we keep that consistency for everybody to be wearing our products and make sure that all these standards, and believe me, we've got to get our glasses tested. It's like $10,000 a year for the compliance, basically. So it's always a lot of maintenance money to make sure that everybody, you can walk up and we can guarantee you that you've just got one of those. You want to walk up and put their hand on a pair of Tonics, you can walk out the store, and we guarantee you that everything is above board and carries the label.
So important, so important. So, mate, before we sort of wrap this up, there's one other aspect. There's probably other things that I'm not familiar with as well, because obviously, this is a brand that you've been working on and developing for a long time, a product you've been working on developing for a long time.
Yeah, just recording the time. I just was going just to grab all those cartons. Yeah, so getting the stock out. Yeah, so, you'll probably chop this up a bit and adjust a few things and whatever.
Yep, I will for that. That's right. So mate, before we wrap this up, one of the things that I would like to explore, and it's a feature of Tonic that I have really appreciated just in recent times. I've been doing a bit of land-based stuff around the foreshores up here in Cairns and clambering over sort of rock walls and headlands and that kind of stuff. And that is the fact that your lenses are decentered. And again, this is not something that's a feature of all sunglasses, but it makes a real difference. I'm going to let you explain why that is. I will say that I really appreciate the difference now that I've worn them.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we can do that. So you can ask away. Go for it.
Yeah. So, mate, tell us first of all what a decentered lens, optically decentered lens is and why it's important.
Well, why we do it, because when I first started in optics, we used to use what we call a plano. So, when we put it in the machine and cut and grind and finish the lens, it could be anywhere by the time we fitted it into the frame after what we call blocking and so forth. But so these days now, with the technology that we do have, we use, many years ago, people used to come and complain, heck, I can't see my footing right, and casting's not correct, I can't hit that mark on the, you know what I mean? It just wasn't focal point where it should have been in focal point. So what happens now, we decenter all the lenses. So depending on the curvature of the frame, is depending on the decentration that we put in that lens. So they are optically perfect. So you'll never lose your footing. When I used to do other lenses and I started doing the tonics, I had bumped into a guide over in Tasmania, and I said, "Would you like to try my glasses out?" And the guide was named Ken Orr, and he said, "Look, mate, I'm not even interested." And I sort of lost it a little bit with him and said, "I've always looked after you, and I just want to try out my glasses, and this is the way that you treat me." And I said, "I just want you to try them out." Anyway, a couple of months went by, and he contacted me, and I'm thinking, this guy's never going to contact me. He contacted me, and he said to me, "Mate, I don't think you know what you've got." And I said, "What is that supposed to mean?" He said, "I can actually rock hop without slipping my glasses off, because the decentration in that lens is accurate." So we did, like I said, different. If it's a different curve, 8, 6, or 4 base, we do the decentration in every lens to suit every pair of glasses we've got.
Yeah. So
when you're casting, for instance, the accuracy of the lenses should give you the perfect cast, providing you can see what you're casting at. So that if you're casting something at the scratch, that's not our fault. That's your fault. But, this is the thing. So decentration in the lens is really important.
I have to tell you, mate, that's actually a negative about Tonic, is that I can no longer blame my sunglasses for, casting up in mangrove trees.
Very true. Very true.
It's my own fault now.
So this guide has got 6 or 7 guides that work with him, involved with him, or beneath him. So they actually gave me, they weren't going to give me a recommendation. They were going to only give me a report. And the reports were fantastic. Every guy, even today, still today, all those guides wear Tonic, and I would not wear anything else.
Yeah.
So,
and I have to say, for me, what I realised when I started wearing Tonic, and I was, as I say, clambering around these rock walls and headlands and things, is I realised that previously what I'd been doing as I moved around was I was slipping my sunglasses down to the end of my nose so that I could look beneath the sunglasses to see where I was putting my feet, right? And it took a little while to realise that I could actually wear my sunglasses properly and be looking through them, and that my peripheral vision wasn't distorted, and that whatever I was seeing was true, and I could put my feet, and it took a little while for my brain to, after years and years and years of wearing sunglasses that weren't decentered, to realise that, okay, now I'm actually seeing where things are and I can be a bit more sure-footed.
And Greg, it really is so important. I could tell you many stories about the lenses that were not decentered. And that's why there was an incident, but there was an incident that made me think, I'm not using a Plano anymore. Lots of companies do. It's a lot cheaper. You save a lot of money.
Yep.
But to produce it with a proper decentered lens, with the amount of decentration on each product that we do, it's quite intense, because it's got to be right. And we've never had, since Tonic's been on the market, it's 11, nearly 12 years now, we've never had a fault with anybody complaining about what they can't see. It's just, and we get, and all the people that buy Tonic, they don't move on from that brand and buy another brand.
No.
So,
and you can count me in that lot. Yeah, and as I said, I don't want to sound like I'm blowing smoke, but the reason that I'm talking to you today is that since I've been wearing Tonics, I can't imagine going back to any of the other brands that I've previously worn.
Yeah, no, we appreciate it.
And I want my listeners to understand the quality and how Tonics have actually improved my fishing experience, because the opportunity is there for you guys as well. You're choosing a pair of sunglasses to have a look at Tonics and try them on. If you choose something else, that's fine, but definitely have a look at these, because I think you'll find them very hard to go past. So, Doug, is there anything else about lenses or frames that we haven't covered that we need to know, when we're thinking about how to pick the right pair of sunglasses for ourselves?
Yeah, do you know what? I did forget to mention about prescription eyewear.
Oh, yes. Most important. Yep.
So, there's a couple of things we can do. A little bit, keep in mind, we use a Colombian resin CR39. So it is a hard, stable product. We don't use polycarbonate. If you go to an optometrist or whatever, they use a polycarbonate pen.
Yeah.
It's soft and it's unstable, so it expands and contracts. It's not heat resistant. What we use is like I said, Colombian resin, CR39, and it's a stable product, so it's heat resistant, so it doesn't expand or contract. So, and it's pretty hard too. It's very, very hard. Like the guides in New Zealand, guides in Tasmania, guides in Darwin, and so forth, they all use, if they need prescription, they use our prescription to sight fish. Really important.
Yes.
So we AR coat them, we diamond coat them with a hard coat, with everything that you want out of a prescription. Now we can do a brown, we can do like a copper, we can do a copper, we can do a greyling, we can then do a mirror coating, whether it be red, blue, green, silver, we can do the coatings. The coatings are probably not as good as what we use with our glass lenses.
Okay.
But when I say good, they are as good as far as deflection goes, but you possibly could scratch it a little bit easier, to be upfront with you. But I've had customers with them for 2 or 3 years and they're still great. So I just know, because this is a coating on the outside where we do different coatings with the glass. So in respective that we can do single vision, we can do bifocal, and we can do progressives, or what they call a multifocal. So progressively, you look down and you can read tight hooks and so forth. Like honestly, you'll get wholesale prices. If you're going to buy from a prospective optometrist, you'll pay a lot more for what product we give you, because our product is as good as you're going to get as far as the prescription goes, optically.
Yep. Awesome stuff. For people like myself, Doug, I don't like to admit it, but I'm getting on a little bit now, and the eyesight isn't quite as good as it was 20 years ago.
Yes.
Probably because I wore crap sunglasses for so many years. And so the ability to get sunglasses that are optical sunglasses, fantastic. Now, mate, in terms of ordering those, I mean, people can obviously contact me. I'm happy to facilitate that process. You need to provide us with your script and all that kind of stuff.
No problem.
And then you just have them made up to order, yeah?
Yep. We manufacture them up to probably about 8 to 9 days, and you'll have a pair of prescriptions sitting on your head.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. So definitely worth looking at. And I have to say, Doug, and you've been modest in not mentioning this, but I have to say that in terms of the cost, I mean, prescription sunglasses aren't cheap, let's be real, but comparatively, I haven't seen any in the same sort of price range as Tonic in terms of prescription sunglasses.
Well, no, they're a lot dearer.
I was being polite.
No, well, yeah. Well, look, single vision, and honestly, for what you get, I kid you not, for a single vision, you're looking at $615. For a bifocal, $715, and for a multifocal or progressive, the two terminologies that we use, they're $715. But you'll pay a hell of a lot more than that. I had a fella ring me up the other day and tell me another brand was $1,190.
Yes.
And I went, and that was for single vision.
Yeah.
I know he checked. In fact, I've got his name today. Carl is his name. He's in Alice Springs, and he's a lovely fella, and he told me how much he'd been quoted, and he couldn't believe how much we'd offered him to it for. And might I say, our product is more expensive to produce than what he was going to get at a high price.
Yes.
So anyway.
And I'll say it because you're too modest too. I believe it's a better product as well. But yeah, it's obviously subjective, but that's been my experience anyway.
Yeah,
so,
no, we do try.
Yeah, terrific stuff, mate. So we are going to wrap this conversation up. I've heard your phone ringing repeatedly. I know you're a busy guy, and so I'm keen to let you get on with your day. Folks at home, if you are keen to get into a pair of Tonics, obviously I'm now in a position that I can offer them to my listeners. So jump over to the Doc Lewis website. There are places there, and there'll certainly be in the show notes for this episode, places where you can click through and peruse the stocks, and just understand that when you purchase a pair of Tonic through me, you are actually supporting the podcast as well and helping to keep us on air. So that's very much appreciated. Plus, hopefully you're getting the best pair of sunglasses you possibly can. And there's a few different things I've got in place to help ensure that that's the case. But I mentioned those red mirror lenses. Now, folks, if you are interested in getting a red mirror lens in whatever frame style suits you, and you want a great deal on that, then definitely I'll put a link on the show notes for that, because what I'll do is I'll offer you, when you purchase a pair of red mirror sunglasses, and you mentioned that you heard about them on this podcast, I'll offer you a free membership to my Team Doc Lewis area, which normally retails for $100 a year or $10 a month, whichever way you like to go. But I'm going to give that to you absolutely free when you buy a pair of Tonics. And I'm also going to put into that members area a masterclass on squidding to make sure you get the best value out of your sunglasses and your time on the water targeting some squid. So go and check those things out, folks. Get yourself a nice pair of red mirror tonics, or if you want a different lens color, they're all available over at the website as well. So go and check them out, support the podcast, support Doug, and get yourself into the best fishing eyewear, in my opinion, that you can possibly get at the best prices. So Doug, it has been absolutely fabulous having a chat with you this morning. Some amazing information there that helps us to understand the importance and the value and the significance of a really good pair of sunglasses. Thank you so much for the time and effort that you've put into developing your line of products and for giving me the opportunity to bring them to my listeners.
Nice.
And I look forward to talking to you again soon, mate.
No, thank you very much, Greg, too, for taking time out. And thanks for the support. It's greatly appreciated in these times these days. And it's hopefully that we can help some people out there. That's the main thing. Absolutely.
Absolutely. Look, if there's anything that is just as important as your rod and reel when you're on the water, it's the eyewear that you wear, protecting your eyes and making sure you get, as I said at the start, you get to see life in full colour and you get to see it without damaging your eyes. So that's what Tonic can give you.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely see what you've been missing.
You'll see what you've been missing, to use your tagline, which is absolutely 100% spot on. So once again, Doug, thank you so much for coming on board and look forward to talking to you again soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Australian Lure Fishing Podcast. For free show notes, downloads, tools and resources, please visit our website on doclures.com or consider supporting the show by joining Team Doc Lures to receive exclusive members-only episodes, tools and resources. But for now, tight lines and may the fish be with you.